Hello, I'm making this video to guide you on how to install a few software required for this training. I have a list of those software on the screen. As you can see, we have six of them. The first one is Visual Studio 2022, which will be used as an IDE for C# programming. Okay, and then the second one here is SQL Server Management Studio 2017 or higher, meaning that you can do 2017, 2018, depends on the latest version you get at the time. And then the third one is Postman. So for the second one, we will be using it to manage test data. And the third one, which is Postman, we are planning to use it to manually test API or web services. Our full meaning of API is Application Programming Interface. Number four, we have fork, which is a local Git client that we will be using to manage source code. You will know more about it when we get to that class. And here is another one, Notepad++. Notepad++ works like a normal notepad, but has additional features which is useful. My preference is you should have it downloaded, installed. So when we start coding or when we start the proper class, you will be able to see the usefulness of it. And lastly, I will expect each delegate to have Azure DevOps registration done. Um, I'm going to guide you on how to do each one of these. And another thing you need to be mindful of is if you already have one or more of this thing installed, you may not need to install it. You can leave it. For example, if you already have Visual Studio 2022 and SQL Server installed, just go ahead with the remaining four. Depends on which one you already have installed. But if you don't have any of them, you need to follow the video to do the needful. So what I will do next is to open um, a Chrome browser. I have Chrome browser open. If you don't currently have one, I will recommend it that you also install Chrome. We will use it for many things. When we start lecture, I will just write it here. Install Chrome. Or let me put it this way, download and install Chrome browser. If you don't currently have it. Now, let's go ahead with the Visual Studio 2022 installation. I will just do here, Google, I will do download, as you can see, download uh, Visual Studio 2022 Community Edition. This edition is free. What can it be if it is not Community Edition? It can be professional or enterprise. But those ones, they are not free and there's no need for you to pay for the license when we can have the Community Edition installed and it does the job. Okay, I will just press enter and then this one bring me to the first option here, which I'm going to click. For some people, in case you are struggling to get this Googling done as expected, you can as well make use of this URL. I will paste it on the notepad for you to see. I will just paste it here. Okay. If you also go directly to this URL, it will land you to the same page I'm in at the moment. So after that, I'm going to click on download Visual Studio. This is free. You are not paying for anything. Okay. I'm doing, I've clicked on download Visual Studio. I'm expecting an action. Okay. Now I have this, as you can see, at the bottom. Okay. You can then click on it and click on open. If I click on open now, it will give me the installer page. For some of you, if you are not able to see it here, it could be for one or two reasons. Maybe you are not using Google Chrome, Google Chrome browser, or it might be another reason. But just in case you are not able to see it at the down left side of your screen, all you have to do is to open File Explorer and then go to download. I've opened mine now. 1 second. I will drag it to the second screen now for all of us to see. 1 second. If you are not able to see it here, like down left of your screen, once you come to download folder, like File Explorer, you should have it here. Either way, you have the installed software already, and there are two options available for you from here. You can double click. Okay, I'm going to double click on this one. After double clicking, you will have something like yes or no answer or question. You need to say yes. And then after I say that, I'm going to minimize the browser so you can see this properly. After I said yes, I got this one. It says before excuse me, before you get started, we need to set up a few things so that you can configure your installation. I will click on continue. But remember, in your own case might be different. You may not have this display because this might be different from one PC to another. Maybe you already have these things that I don't have installed. You may already have those things installed. If you do, it may not bring you to this page. But if you don't, it will bring you to this page and you can click on continue. I will allow it some time. Okay. My expectation is that it should then bring me to the installer page, which I have now. Okay. As you can see, we are here now. I can maximize it, and by default, okay, this installer already pick the most important thing that you need to have installed in your Visual Studio. Now we have additional information that we may need as part of it. So as part of this installation, I'm going to pick a few more things that I think we will require for the purpose of what we need. Okay. Now, I'm going to select ASP.NET and web development. And also, I'm selecting the Azure development. Okay. And then what else? Let me pick .NET multi-platform app UI. And what else? I'm going to pick universal window platform development. And let me see. I can select Visual Studio extension development. After all this selection, you can see immediately I click on each of them, I have it added on the right. And then total space required, it tells us that 23.16 gigabytes. I will click on install. But if you don't have much space for your own, you may choose not to have the like of, for example, Azure development, Visual Studio extension development. These two, I think they are optional. You may choose not to have them installed. So I will click on install while downloading. Uh, okay, I will just click on install. install. So this one depends on how fast your laptop is, will determine how long it takes to do it. For some people, it may do it within a minute or two. For some PC, it might be like 5 to 10 minutes. So it varies on two things, or it depends on two things. How fast your laptop is, plus the speed of your internet connection. You need to be aware of these two things. Okay. Now, again, allow it some time to do the installation, to do the download and installation. Okay. As you can see, the installation is still in progress. I think for 5 minutes time now or more, and my laptop is so fast in terms of specification. Actually, that's another thing you need to be aware of. All this installation, they are resource intensive. You need a good working laptop for the purpose of this work. It is important. Okay. So now the installation is ready, and automatically it's launched this IDE. But just in case if yours is different, maybe the installation is done, but you couldn't see this one. Okay, all you have to do is you can manually launch it yourself. Just come here and click on launch. When you click on launch, it shows this one. Though, oh, sorry, I'm launching 2019. My bad. I'll close it and then launch 2022 because I have two installation installed. Your PC is capable of having one or more versions of Visual Studio installed. This is the one I just installed, Visual Studio 2022. Remember, I'm not asking you to go and install 2019. It's because I currently have it. That is why I can see it on the installer page. Now, if your Visual Studio could not be launched automatically, you need to come here and click on launch, and then it should give you this look. And then, um, 1 second. Once you are here, you can, you have one more thing to do. Okay, click on continue without code, and then it will open this one for you. Now, for most of you who is just installing it for the first time, one more thing you need to do is you need to make sure you sign in. How do you go about it? I think I have to sign out first. Um, Up here, 1 second, let me sign out first. I think I'll do sign out. Now, if you have not signed in for a fresh installation, you will have sign in icon at the top right. You must do this because if you don't, after 30 days or 60 days, you will not be able to access your Visual Studio again. But what do you need to sign in? You need either uh, um, Hotmail account or Outlook account. If you don't currently have one, you may have to create it. This same Hotmail account you are creating, you will also need it for Azure DevOps registration anyway. If you don't currently have one Hotmail or Outlook, you can create one. You can just come to Google, you can say Hotmail account and then press enter. Then click on the first thing you have here, for example, and then as you can see, you have create free account. Click on create free account. And then when you are here, there is this drop down that you can select from. I will recommend Hotmail, but it doesn't really matter whether Outlook or Hotmail. If you are doing Hotmail, I will say hotmail.com and then new account. I need to give it a name let me call it um, I'm just thinking of the name to give to it. So we can as well use it for this class. Let me call it Test Automation 2022. Next. If this name already exists, it won't allow us. But because we don't currently have it, that is why we are allowed to use the username. I'm going to keep it safe, okay? And then I need to give it a password. And let me think of the password to use. I can use I won't disclose it, okay? Then I would like information tips of I'm going to untick this one because I'm not interested. Then I'll click on next. This one asks for the username or for first name. For easy accessibility, I'm going to save it. But if you don't have this option, don't worry. This is how my own laptop is configured by using my browser to save the username and password. But if yours does not behave that way, it is not part of the work you are doing. Just carry on. This one asks for username, for first name and last name. I would call it test automation. Then next, remember in your own case, you need to use your own first name and last name or the username that you have chosen. I'm not asking you to use Test Automation 2022 for your own because that will be your own personal Hotmail or Outlook. Okay. Uh, I'll just pick one random DOB. Okay. Next. Now I have a new, this one says, please solve the puzzle so we know you are not a robot. What's what puzzle? Pick one square. Obviously, this one will be different from yours. So I don't really want to waste our time with this one. I will pause the recording, sort out the account curation, and then resume the recording. Okay? So I'm done with the puzzle now, and I think I have the account ready. Remember, this is for some of us with no either Outlook or Hotmail account, but if you already have it, nothing to worry about. Um, get off. Now this is the username. Okay, I think I have it here already. I also have it copied. And remember, try to remember your password anyway. This is what I need to take back to Visual Studio. That this is for some of us with no either Outlook or Hotmail. Then I'll come back here, sign in, okay, and then use other accounts. I put this one now, click on next. This will ask for my password, okay, sign in. If the login detail is correct, this will change now. See, it has changed from sign in to if I hover on it to test automation is signed in. This is what you need to have Visual Studio installation done. That means we are done with the first one. Now we need to proceed to the second one. But before I proceed, what I will do is I'm going to, this is also optional. This one says select repo, but we will come back to this when we start. Okay. Now I'm going to close Visual Studio and close the installer because we are done with the first one. Now we need to proceed to the second one, SQL Server Management Studio. So what I will do is I will just copy this part, copy, open Google again, and then open a new tab. I can do google.com if I'm not currently here. Like if you are not currently on Google Chrome, you can do google.com, enter. That'll bring you here. I can then paste the SQL Server Management Studio, let's say 20. We have newer version actually. You can say 2018, it doesn't really matter, or 2017, do 2017, download, press enter. Now we are here. This first one, I'm going to click on it, download. For some of us that won't be able to do Googling, I'm going to copy this URL, which should also take you to the same page anyway, and paste it here for you. So you can see, though I won't expect you to start typing all of this because it's a bit much, but if that is the only option you have, why not? You can do it. Okay. So the username is not really relevant to you. That's why I put it at the bottom. Now, back to this page. 1 second. Back to this page. Once you are here, you can then come here and do free download for SQL Server Management Studio SSMS 18.2.1. Remember, at the time of this installation, this might have changed to another, probably to a newer version. It doesn't really matter. Just go ahead with it. So I'm clicking on this one now, and I will allow it some time. While I'm allowing it some time, you can keep an eye on the bottom left. You will see it that something is getting downloaded, which is SSMS setup dash enu.exe. Okay, so now give it more time, and the installation will complete. I mean, the download will complete, and we can start the installation. Be clear with the difference between download and installation. When you're installing software, you may have to download it first. After downloading it, you can then start the installation. Now, we need to allow it more time. I think it's almost ready. Again, like the previous one we did, there are two options for you. Now it's ready. There are two options for you. You can click here and do open. You can as well come to File Explorer and launch it here, as you can see here. Now, the first one we did, we opened it from here. I can do the next one, which is the SSMS setup one from here. So I'm clicking here now, and I will click open. Let's see what it brings out for us. Yeah, it will come up with a yes or no pop-up. You need to say yes, and after that, um, I'm having this one now. Now, once you are here, let me minimize the browser behind it so that we can see it properly. Once you are here, all you have to do next is to click on install. Click on install, allow it some time. This also depends on two things: how fast your laptop is, and then the speed of your internet. Those are the two things you need to be aware of. The installation is still in progress. Once the second bar, the overall progress bar, the color blue or the ink reaches here, that means it's done. And then this is actually divided into two stages. The SQL Server Management Studio installation. The first part is in progress. After the first part, automatically it goes to the second stage of the installation. We need to allow it more time, which is in progress, as we can see. Okay, let's give it some time. Now it tells us um, setup completed. Okay. All you have to do next is to click on close. When you click on close, wait a little bit, and then let's see if it brings out another um, Windows. I hope it will. That's what I'm expecting, but I haven't seen anything. So 1 second, I need to investigate. Yeah, remember I mentioned it that the database installation is in 2 stages. What I discover is that um, I did the second stage first instead of doing the first stage. And I think I didn't get any errors because for one of the two reasons, maybe because I already have SQL Server Management Studio installed, which I recently uninstalled for the purpose of this video. And probably when I was uninstalling it, I didn't do it 100%. And yeah, anyway, the way forward is let's assume it worked for you by downloading the second stage first. The next thing you have to do is to do the second installation. This is the link you will need to do it. HTTPS Microsoft.com, this. What I'm going to do now is to type it out. I will type out the URL and then we take it to what's it called? We take it to the browser and then load it up. Okay, so I'll quickly do that because this is an image, I cannot copy it. HTTPS. I copied it already, and then I'm going to launch my browser a new tab and paste it here, press enter. Now, sorry, excuse me. Normally, I suppose because it's a URL, I supposed to paste it here actually and press enter, but then it takes us to the same page anyway. Once you are here, you can see this installation should come first before the first one, but I think it doesn't really matter. Now we have done the second one, and now we are doing the first one. Click on download, and you see on the top, on the down left here, I have new software downloaded. I can launch it from here. At the same time, I can come to File Explorer. As you can see, this is the new one. If you look at the time, uh, 11:43 is the newer one compared to the one that was downloaded by 11:21. Okay, now I'm going to launch it, double click. Though for me, there is this window pop-up that came up. For me, because I already have it installed, it may tell me that, oh, you already have it. But if it does, that's fine. It will not say that to you, especially if you don't already have it installed. You can just carry on with it. But if it does, that means I will stop at that point. The option to choose from is basic, which is the first option. I click on basic and I will click on next and then install. Now it's doing some installation. Allow it some time. Okay. And let's see what the result looks like after that. Installation is still in progress. I'm not getting any errors so far. Now be aware of all these things. They will be useful for you when you are doing it. The SQL Server Management Studio installation is in two stages. This is the second stage. Once this second stage is complete, I will then show you how to launch the database. At that point, remember, I will still explain that when I get there. Anyway, I already have a few databases in my PC. Because of that, it will load them up. But in your own case, if you are doing this installation for the first time, you will not have any uh, database unless you have downloaded it as part of this installation. If you haven't, your own database folder will be blank. I'm saying this so that you don't get confused when the way my own looks like is different from the way your own looks like. That is not an issue. And also, the SQL Server 2017 Express Edition we are using for this installation might change at some point. Maybe by the time you are installing yours, we may have a newer version display. You can still make use of the newer version or this version. So that's the gist. I'm going to pause the recording and wait for it to complete. So now everything is fine. As you can see, you need to wait until you have this message. Installation has completed successfully. Once you get to that message page, you can then launch your SQL Server. Um, I'm closing this one. It says, are you sure you want to exit? I'll say yes. Now you can launch it. How are you going to launch it? I am going to switch the screen I'm sharing to the other screen, okay, so that you see how to launch it. I will do that now. So now to launch it, depends on the Windows you are using. I'm using Windows 11. If you are using Windows 10 or 11, you have this Windows icon. Once you click on it, or you also have this search option, you can click on this window icon. It opens this up. If you are using Windows 10, you will have this icon as well. Click on it and then come to type here to search. Your own type here to search location might be different from mine. Depends on the operating system you have in place. But then once you are here, you can then type Management Studio or SQL Server Management Studio. I will type Management Studio. Now I have this one, as you can see, SQL Server, Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. I'm going to click on it. When you click on it, allow it a few seconds. You should have this window display. Wait for it a little bit. Depends on how fast your laptop is, will determine how soon you have this launched. Now, you have this window open. For some of us, you will have the server name immediately like this. As you can see, if you do, you click on connect, okay, it will take you to the platform. But if you don't, let's say it is blank, okay, I will just pretend as if it is blank. I've seen. For some of us, you will have yours like this. If yours looks like this, the connect button will be disabled, meaning that you will not be able to connect. What will you do if yours looks like this? You come to the drop down in front of server name, and then you come to browse for more, and then you expand database engine, and then you select, you will have one or two options here. I'm going to select the first one, okay, and click OK. And then now I have the value there, which makes the connect button enabled. I will then click on connect. Once I click on connect, as soon as I have a few things displayed on the left, that means I've done the installation successfully. Okay, the one I was telling you about is if I expand my own databases folder now, I already have a few databases installed or curated. Because of that, I will have some stuff here, as you can see. In your own case, when you only have this installation done, you will have just system databases folder and database snapshot folder. You won't have these two. That's the difference that um I have that you may not have. But nothing to worry about. Everything is fine as long as you are able to get to this page. Then the next thing is to proceed to the next installation. Okay. We've sorted um the first and the second installation. Let's now proceed to the third one, number three. But remember, in the process of doing this, we have a few things sorted as well. We managed to have an account, a Hotmail account, as you can see, which can be useful. Also, I recommended a Gmail account. That Gmail account, the Gmail account will also be useful. Now let's proceed to the third one, Postman installation. I will load up the browser. Now we don't need all this again. I can close them, open a new tab, close this one, and come back here and do Postman installation or Postman install. Do that. I'm only Googling it as well. This takes us to the first option, www.postman.com. Let's go there. If you are not able to open this one, you can, I'm copying this one now and paste it on the notepad for you to see. Before I proceed, for some of us, if for some reason this part of the second stage of SQL Server installation didn't load up again, maybe it's being removed by Microsoft. Instead of loading up everything, you can load up to here. If you load up to here, let's see what we have. Sorry that I'm taking you back a little bit. I'm just thinking about the future. At the moment, as of today now, it works. But tomorrow or later, it may stop working because we don't have control over this thing. If that happens, all you have to do is get the part of the URL up to download, load it up, and then we are here now. Maybe we can do a bit more by coming back here and let's see. Let's see what we get if we load up to here. I'm not quite sure. I'm just trying things out as well. But you don't have to do this if you already have the installation done. Okay. Now, okay, it takes us to the same page. Now that we are here, we can do Windows. Let's see if we do Windows. Do we have something like SQL Server database? Or maybe we have Visual Studio. I'm looking for Management Studio. Or maybe, regardless, maybe it will load because this link has been working for some time now. Now, um, let's do a search. Management Studio. Yeah, SQL Server. So it brings us here, which is the same page. Anyway, we are not buying. We are not buying. Don't pay for anything. You see, it's not cheap, as you can see. Look at the edition. This is how much Microsoft charges. But that's why we are going for Express edition, which is free. Okay, yeah. Anyway, I think there is no need to bother ourselves about that. I will just carry on with the Postman installation. Remember, for Postman installation, I copied the URL here for you already. And then if you come back to the browser, this one says Windows 64-bit. Now, this is regarding operating system bit. For some of us, we have uh, 32 bits, which I would say is not really common. Why for some is 64-bit, which is mostly common. You can search, you can know which one you have by checking on your PC. How do you check that? I can quickly show you. 1 second. Just to know the bit that you have. Is it 32 or 64? So now to know which one do you have, you can come to click on this start the Windows icon as well, and then come here and type THIS this, or maybe this is not working again. Let's type PC for computer. This PC, I'm looking for this PC, but is it? This is Windows 11. Things has changed slightly, but then let's type this PC. This PC. We are not resetting the PC. Let me see if I do right click. No, this is not giving us what we want. Um, what I will do is let me type. I think I typed computer already. Let me type it again. Computer management. If I open it, let me see what this one give us. No, no, this is not what I'm looking for. I will do again. Let me type properties. Properties. System. Clicking on open. This one looks like having what I'm looking for. Let me check. Okay, I think so. This one tells us the name of the device, the installed RAM. This is useful for you as well to know the memory you have on your laptop and the system type. This is what we are looking for. 64-bit operating system. The usefulness of it is sometimes you may have a need to install some software. That software might only be compatible with 32 bits, and if your laptop is 64 bit, I think it should work well. But yeah, it will work well. But if the software is only meant for 64 bits and your own PC has 32 bits, it may not work well for it. So that is why knowing your laptop bit is important. And if my operating system is Windows 10, once I type this, the way I was typing it the other time, I will repeat it. Once I come here and type this or this PC, it will give me like a PC image or icon. Once I have that, all I have to do is to right click on that icon and click on properties. When you click on properties or properties, it will launch this window for you. But based on the changes that we've discovered now, this is Windows 11, like I said, okay, all you have to do is to, as you can see, this is Windows 11. All you have to do here is to type uh, system. And once you type system, you then click on open, and then it opens up this for you. As you can see, it tells us the operating system and the system type, which is 64 bits. So that is how to go about that. Okay, now we can continue with the installation we are doing for Postman, which expects our PC to be 64 bits. And based on the findings, based on what we have checked just now, we got to know that we have in place 64 bits. Now that we have this one, all I have to do next is to click on it. I'm clicking on it, and then again, if you keep an eye on the down left, you see the software open up. Okay, now two options. You can launch it from here, or you can open a file explorer. When you open a file explorer, you have it here. Now I'm going to double click on it. Remember what we are using this Postman for is to carry out API manual testing, or to do um yeah, to carry out API manual testing or web services. Now this one may also, it will load up, allow it some time. Now it loads up, and sometimes, as you can see, we have this one preloaded. Sometimes it will ask you to sign in. Okay, I think because I have it installed before, that is why I have all this pre-data loaded. Okay, I will not save it, just to show you how yours should look like. For example, yours may look like this, and then if if you have been told by this API thing to log in, you can log in with the Gmail address you gave me already, and it will ask you for both username and password. Yeah, that is all. This Postman installation is pretty much straightforward. It's not as tricky as the other two we've done. So if I come here, yeah, I don't think you don't really have much to do once you are able to launch this one, and you click on, for example, this new tab, and you are able to see, when you open this drop down, you are able to see all these requests: get, post, put, patch, blah 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 blah, up to here. That means you are done. And by the time you are doing this installation, we may also have a newer version. You can go ahead with it. It doesn't make much difference. I will close it, and then let's see what we have left on our list. Uh, we've done one, two, three. The next one we have left is number four, fork, which we will be using to locally manage our source code. It is also known as a Git client. Now, before we go ahead with this one, you need to be aware of something. When you are installing fork, it may ask you to make payments like $50 or so. Don't bother, just ignore that part and continue. It is entirely free. You don't have to pay for anything. You understand? That is important, because some people will be like, oh, Kolade, this one asks us to pay. No, it is free. You don't have to pay for anything. Okay? Now, I will launch my browser again, and then go ahead with the fork installation. But before I do that, I'm going to close the Postman, and then bring out the browser, open a new tab, and close this one, and come to Google. I can then do fork installation, or fork install. Now, remember, you need to keep an eye on what gets opened. As you can see, this one gives us https git-fork.com. This is the website you are going. And like I said, you can see 49.99 here. Don't Just ignore it. It is free. Click on the first one, the one with this link. When you click on it, for some of us, let me copy this link and then put it on the notepad for us to see. Okay? Just in case we are struggling to navigate from google.com. That's why I put the link here for us to see. I will minimize this one, and then um, scroll down. You can see we are using Windows laptop. Do not do download for Mac. Do download for Windows, and don't make any payment, please. Okay, click on download for Windows. The software starts to download. The bottom left, as you can see. Okay, The same thing. Some of us will be like, oh, I don't know how to, I don't have Chrome installed. Just Google it. Google and do, I mean, Google from another browser, maybe Edge or Internet Explorer, and do Google Chrome download. That will take you to the page where you can download Google Chrome. Now, for the fork installation, we have it here. I'm going to open File Explorer to see the installation. As you can see, I will double click on it. Okay, if it asks you a question for yes or no, fine. If it doesn't, go ahead. As it is now, it doesn't ask us any questions. Okay, now we have this window open. It asks us for username, says optional. Email is also optional. For now, what I will do is, I know clearly that for this one, I will be using I will be using Hotmail or Outlook account. Once that is known and I already have the email curated, which is here, remember for your own, you need to use your own Hotmail account. Don't use mine because you don't have my password. Okay, use yours. That is important. Now, here, the full name, I can call the full name test automation. Why you call it your own full name? Right. For email address, I will put it here. Though it says optional, this is not compulsory. If you don't currently have the Hotmail or Outlook installed, you can still, finish this installation without you having to input anything. So I will click on finish, and then I will expect it to launch. Yeah, you can see it starts to prepare the IDE for you, and then um, what I will do is I will bring it for you to the other screen. I got it open here, but I'm coming. So now we have these windows now. I can minimize other stuff so we can clearly see it. Once you are here, once you get to this page, that means you have successfully installed Fork. And as you can see, I didn't have to pay for anything. Don't tell me that, oh, you are told to pay and you made payment. You don't have to because we are using a free version of it. Now, that is what again, click on the file at the top left. Make sure you are able to see all these options. Now, just leave it as it is. Another thing I may probably ask you to install is Git, Git for Windows, which you will be taught on how to install that anyway. Don't worry, but make sure you have this installed as part of it. And when you get to one, there will be a stage during the training where you will be told to install Git Kraken. Do not install Git Kraken at that point because it's an option to fork. So I will recommend the usage of this one rather than Git Kraken. Ignore that one. Once you have this installed, I will close it and then open our Notepad to see how much we have done. We have successfully installed 4, as you can see. So the next one to install is Notepad++. What do? We go to Google as we normally do and type install or download Notepad++. I will go ahead and do that. Open a new tab, close this one. I'm on Google. I'll just do Notepad. You can see Notepad++ download. Enter. It takes us here, notepad-plus.org. I will click on it. I will get this URL, put it on the notepad, just for some of us that won't be able to navigate the way I did. You can always make use of the URL here for your download. Okay. And then I will then go ahead and do the download for, it doesn't really matter. I will do the newer version, the latest one. When you are doing this one, you most likely will have another latest or newer version. Just go for it. Doesn't matter. I'll click on this one, and then click on download. as you can see, the down left, we have it fully downloaded. If I come to Notepad++, I can then launch it from here. Double click, it will ask you a question, user account control question, answer yes. And then when you answer yes, it gives us this installer language. I'm going to minimize all other windows for us to clearly see what we have. Now, for this installer window, I will click OK. And then after I click OK, I have this window. And then I will click on next. I will click on I agree. I will click on next. I will click on next. Then if you want a shortcut to appear on your desktop, you need to select this one, but it's optional. I don't want it because even if I have one shortcut, I will get rid of it anyway. I'll click on install, then click on finish. When you are successfully done with the installation, it should give you this window. If it does, that means successfully you are done the installation. If it doesn't, you may have to trace your step back until you have it properly installed. That is for Notepad++. What will you be using it for? We will see it when we start training. But just like a quick, you will only have one window. Remember, I have this installed already. I uninstalled it. That's as a result of that. That's why I've got a few tabs. But in your own case, most likely you will only have one tab. And then if you come to language, you see that we can use it as an editor for different programming language. As you can see, okay. But yeah, we will be taught on what and what we can use it for the purpose of the test automation training. Now I will close it and then come back to our list and see how much we've done or we've gone. We've successfully installed 5 software. Now we are done with the last one. And this is not even an installation. This is like you creating an account. Which account? Azure DevOps. We will do that in a bit. Now for Azure DevOps registration, you have a prerequisite for this one. You definitely need to have either a Hotmail account or uh, the Outlook account. I will launch my browser, open a new tab, close this one because I don't need it again. Then come back here and do Azure DevOps, not Azure only, Azure DevOps, login, press enter, and then come to the first option. So I'm copying this link again. We all know why this time around. I will then put it here. Okay. And then minimize. Now, this one says start free with GitHub. This one says start free. You need to click on start free. When you click on start free, let's wait for it. It now asks us for the account. I will do this one. Remember, you need to use your own Hotmail, not this one. Paste, do next, and then select your region, United Kingdom. Select, I would like information tips. I don't want it, so I will not select this one. I will click on continue. Name, almost done. Name this one, prefix this one automatically. You don't have to change it. And then you have now been told where your project will be hosted, UK South. A few options here, just go with the default. You don't have to change anything. And this one asks you to enter the character you see. I can see Lima 53 Kilo Golf November Golf Juliet. and then I'll click on continue. It looks like it is working. It's planning to set up the platform for me. And if it works as expected, we see. Remember, you can only do this but once. Once you are here, you can leave it like this, or you can give your project a name. And then since it is like an individual account, this one has, say, only people you give access to will be able to fill this project. This one has like private way for you to host your code, unlike GitHub, which if you don't pay for GitHub, you will only be able to host your account in public. This one allows both public host and private host, and by default, we got private selected. So the project name, I can call it, um, though it's optional, I can decide later and leave it like this, or once you have your Azure DevOps account created, you can as well give it a name as test. Make sure it is one word, okay? Test automation. Then click on create project. Once you are here, you can then leave it. And this is the end of the installation. Okay, this is the end of what you need to install. Remember, this last one we installed, it's not something we install on our PC. It is something we do the registration on the server, meaning that look at this username now. When you click on it, you can sign out and then sign in again later. See, you sign out of the browser. I'm not doing anything. Automatically, it brings us back here. And whenever it is you want to sign in again, you click on sign in and it discover maybe yours should behave this way as well. But if it doesn't, you will be asked to input your username, which is the email address. But if your browser discover the login details automatically, you only need to click on it and then it will ask you for the password. The same password you use when you created your either Hotmail or Outlook. Okay, so I can choose stay signed in or no. Now I've signed in again. Welcome to, sorry, this one gets me logged into Azure anyway, but this is not what I want. But then, as it is now, it's okay. But I don't want Azure. I want Azure DevOps. Come back here and do Azure DevOps login. As you can see, click on this one, click on sign in to Azure DevOps. This is what we want. Now we are back on this one. Okay, click here and sign out. Then that's all. That's all you have to do. Once you are done with this 6 installation, you are good to go. All right. Thank you.